Hey, what's up, guys? Dana White says UFC will no longer allow TRT. Couldn't wait for that garbage to go away. What do you guys think? The Nevada State Athletic Commission basically says they are no longer approving people to use TRT, and this is an enhancement drug that a lot of people use to cheat, and most noticeable is Vitor Belfort. And a lot of people are saying Vitor is one of these dudes who uses it, and that's why he's been being so aggressive and knocking people out. If he was on TRT, and that's why a lot of people said he was fighting over in Brazil and not in the US because he couldn't get his TRT allowed. So, do you think it's going to be a bad thing that TRT is gone or a good thing? SBN Nation's lightweight rankings. Where does Daniel Cormier fit? Daniel Cormier has crashed the party in the lightweight division, but John Jones, Alex Gustafsson still rank superior. John Jones, the UFC light heavyweight champion and number one pound per pound fighter, was the obvious pick. So do you guys really think Daniel Cormier deserves to be ranked in the top 5 or at least top 10 in the 205 pounds? I really don't. Who's he beaten? He beat Pat Cummings, which is a amateur fighter who talked a lot of crap to make his way into the UFC. Okay, that I give the dude credit. I give the dude credit for stepping up and having the balls to fight an MMA fighter that is an elite fighter like Daniel Cormier. Did Daniel Cormier dominate that fight? Yeah. Did Daniel Cormier go out like a beast? He did. But Daniel Cormier hasn't improved. He hasn't proved to me that he can beat John Jones. He can beat Alex Gustafsson. He can beat Phil Davis. So, no, I don't think he should be in the top 10 or top 5. But let me know in the comment section below, because MMAfighting.com has a poll saying, should he be ranked in the top 5? Who's he beaten? Pat Garbage? No one knows who Pat Cummings is. I go up down the street. Yo, you like Pat Cummings? Go, who? Oh, that dude Daniel Cormier smashed? That's all the people know about. Damn, this sucks, guys. I'm going to read the article. It says, Nate Diaz asked UFC release via Twitter. In a surprise move, potential lightweight contender Nate Diaz, 17-9, took to social media Wednesday afternoon to ask for his release from the UFC. Quote, I would like to request to be released from the UFC. It's time for me to be on my way, Diaz wrote on Twitter in a message addressed to both Dana White and the official UFC account. An explanation, ludicrous contract after friend, longtime teammate Gilbert Melendez by Bellator MMA. Diaz, currently the number 5 UFC ranked lightweight, has competed within the promotion since winning the Ultimate Fighter 5 in 2007. He holds a record of 12-7 over the time and fell short in his only title shot, losing an unanimous decision against Benson Henderson in 2012. And it basically says Diaz managers did not return messages left by MMAfighting.com. UFC officials have yet to comment on the situation. It's just going back to what Gilbert Melendez was dealing with trying to make more money and basically being kind of screwed. I'm not exactly all sure what's going on with the Gilbert Melendez thing, but I think he's still fighting in the UFC, going to be fighting against for the title. But I think maybe he might be going to Bellator or some other organization that might offer him some money. And he was the number 5th ranked UFC lightweight in the world. And does he want to go to Bellator? Is it time that Diaz hangs up his gloves and retires from the sport? It's not saying he's retiring. He just wants to be out of the UFC. And I think the UFC is the highest form of mixed martial arts, at least here in the United States. And do you guys think it's a sad day that he leaves? Or do you guys think it's a good thing that a lot of big fighters are leaving the UFC, going to Bellator or World Series of Fighting, and getting maybe better fights or getting paid more money? Because it all comes down nowadays that fighters want to make more freaking money than they're making. I don't know how much this dude's making per fight, 50 grand, 60 grand. That's still a lot of money when you think about it over a period of 3 fights a year. If you do 50 grand, 3 fight, you're doing 150 grand a year. But to be honest, I found out a lot of these fighters aren't even making that much. Yo guys, it's a bad thing when top UFC stars are just getting up and wanting to leave and maybe fight for other organizations. Jose Aldo fires back at Dana White criticism. Jose Aldo's UFC first and only featherweight champion opened up following a press conference on Tuesday afternoon in Rio de Janeiro. Aldo talked to Brazilian media about several topics, including a possible rematch with Chad Mendes, with Anthony Pettis out of the picture for now. Aldo looks to defend the featherweight crown next. Chad Mendes made the case for a rematch with 5 straight victories with 4 knockouts, but Aldo is not impressed. Chad is a really dangerous and talented fighter, but I don't know if it's going to be him or anyone, he said. I respect Mendes a lot. He's tough, but it doesn't matter if he's coming off knockouts or not. I think he's changed the way he fights, and he don't fight top 10 opponents. If he's my next opponent, I'll study him again to get in there and fight. So, do you guys think the UFC is kind of screwing this guy? Because I think it was Gilbert Melendez is now going to fight Showtime Pettis. And I think, wasn't the fight supposed to be Pettis versus Jose Aldo? I think that would be a more better fight than Gilbert Melendez. I think Gilbert does deserve a title at 155, but everybody wants to see that kind of fight. We want to see these super fights, and I don't think this fight's going to happen. And I think, like he's saying, is Chad Mendes really the next guy in line? You got Cub Swanson. You got other guys who have been doing a lot of winning streaks but never get a title shot. So in the comment section below, do you think Chad Mendes is the guy to beat Jose Aldo, or is it just going to be another ass whooping? So do you guys think Jose Aldo kind of plays it safe where he doesn't go for the kill like he did in the WEC? He used to go for broke and dominate fighters. Do you think he plays it safe and he hasn't won in dynamic fashion in a while? He, like his last fight, he got to the 5th round and the dude was grounding and pounding him for the last round. So do you think he wins 4 rounds, loses 1? Is it because he's playing it safe, or he just doesn't go for broke? I think fighters like this, they get to a point where it's like they're showing so much skill that they can fuck fools up left and right. But in the comment section below, what fight would you rather see? The Gilbert Melendez fight versus Anthony Pettis, or Anthony Pettis versus Jose Aldo? Because Jose Aldo, I think, would give Anthony Pettis way more of a fight than Gilbert would. I know Gilbert's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, but there's just something about that fight. I'm like, I don't really care. And I don't really like Jose Aldo, but I would love to see him fight at 155, where I think that's his weight class. I think that's where he needs to be fighting. And with that being said, thanks for watching another MMA Breakdown podcast. Sorry I can't do this over Google+. I gave you guys a reason why in my other video. But man, it sucks that Nate and Diaz is basically wants to get out of his UFC contract and possibly fight in Bellator or some other organization. But with that being said, I will definitely talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.